It is Marsh and Melo, TSN 1150 in Hamilton. Thank you for being here with us. As always, we do appreciate it. At Marsh and Melo is where you can find us anytime to get a hold of the show. Text in 115050 as well. Very much enjoyed yesterday, Sean. I opened up the texting machine, and we had one from somebody that just said, hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for texting into the show. We appreciate it. Right now, we want to turn our attention towards, of course, the Interval House of Hamilton and welcoming a good friend of the program. Always great to be able to catch up with Nancy Smith, the Executive Director, Interval House of Hamilton. Nancy, thank you for being on with us. As always, we really do appreciate it. And I'm wondering, for people that are not aware of what this month is and the announcement that you are making today, give some background on yet another wonderful partnership that you have here in the city of Hamilton.
Well, thanks so much. We launched our new partnership with SportHamilton yesterday, which, really adds another layer of opportunity to get the message out about ending gender-based violence. So for the month of Be More Than a Bystander, that's our new announcement. So we're excited.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to be able to have. And of course, Val Sarjeant on the line with us here as well, past chair of MentorAction and vice president of SportHamilton. Val, thank you as well for being here with us. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, this partnership, you obviously have a connection, a relationship with the MentorAction program, but to officially be able to sign on during Be More Than a Bystander month has to be really exciting for SportHamilton.
It certainly is. Again, we're all about ensuring that we have quality sport, physical activity for all citizens of Hamilton. So we've got an extensive access to coaches that could benefit from this message, and I think the Be More Than a Bystander program is going to be a great addition to some of the training that we're already doing in the community.
Nancy, the partnership involves the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the Hamilton Bulldogs, McMaster Athletics, Forge FC. What does it mean to have those teams involved, and what is their role in all of this?
With the inclusion of these elite sports teams, it really allows us to deliver a message to youth, coaches, and men in our community from sports celebrities, folks who they may look up to. And it just gives us another layer of an audience that delivers the message around healthy relationships versus unhealthy, and really helps us build social development in youth and men in our community. As well as, through their sport involvement, their skill development. So it just helps us spread this information that is so critically important.
Nancy Smith, again, Executive Director of the Interval House of Hamilton, joining us here on TSN 1150 in Hamilton, alongside Val Sarjeant, the past chair, MentorAction, and Vice President of SportHamilton. I know a lot of people are kind of wondering at this point, the great work the Tiger Cats do and Forge FC, and being able to get into the community and be able to share the message of being more than a bystander. How have you been able to continue that throughout these difficult times, Nancy? Because it really does pose a challenge, especially when, there's at-home learning. It's not even as though the kids can all be in an auditorium together masked up and watching somebody like Jeremiah Masoli or Simone Lawrence pop on a Zoom for them in the gym or something like that. I would imagine there's been some natural built-in difficulties to sharing your message throughout this.
There have been, but, we've rose to the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The men, the group of men at MentorAction, the Be More Than a Bystander group, we have created virtual learnings. We also have messages through Hamilton for the month of February for the Be More Than a Bystander, billboards, we have radio ads, op-eds. So we're really, keeping the awareness elevated so that we do not stop the conversation, but we keep it going, and which is so critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And Val, for you, SportHamilton, for people that don't have enough background or don't know exactly what SportHamilton does, what you are about, I think they're wondering, because this partnership is obviously outstanding with the Interval House of Hamilton and meaningful, but how does SportHamilton play into all of this and this connection with the Interval House?
Sure. So SportHamilton is a not-for-profit organization, and basically we work with community groups and sports organizations to enhance the sport experience within their organizations. So again, we've got probably in excess of 200 member sports organizations, and that includes the full range of sports, bowling, football, soccer, track and field, volleyball, tennis, swimming, the whole 9 yards. So you can imagine if we're tapped into 200 organizations. I'll use myself as an example.
Mm-hmm.
My sport's track and field, and I coach with 2 sport organizations. And between those 2 organizations, we have 15 coaches So use that as an example, times 200 organizations. We've got access to thousands of coaches within the city of Hamilton that we can help share that Be More Than a Bystander message through training.
Nancy, for you, this obviously comes at a time where, we've been in lockdown for almost a year at this point, and gender-based violence, of course, has been a particular focus of, what's going on with people being, potentially in homes that are unsafe, things like that. How has the COVID crisis, sort of impacted, the way that Interval House does things day to day and sort of amplify the importance of this initiative right now?
Yeah, we have certainly seen a spike in all requests of our service, whether it's our shelter or community programs. And historically, it's always, gender-based violence has always been seen as a woman's issue and a woman's issue to solve. To have the inclusion of male leaders like Val, yourselves in our community, that stand up, speak out about ending gender-based violence, I have to tell you that resonates with our staff, the women we work with, the kids we work with. As you know, we did our Walk the Talk video last year with Bulldogs, Ticats, and they made dinner for women and kids in our shelter. The message, the inclusion is so important because it does resonate and have an impact on all levels.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also wondering, Nancy, hearing you talk about making the dinner for the kids and women like that, can you tell us a story of something that's been really heartwarming to you that you've seen, whether it's something you've created or something that you've just experience where you're realizing we're making a real difference here? Like, this is actually changing people's lives for the better.
Well, I'll use the dinner as an example. When we had Matt Osnick and Steve Stales come in along with Chef Ken come in and prepare the dinner, we did it with an intent because women were historically hearing, complaint by their partner. He didn't like what was being served for dinner, didn't like the groceries in the house. She was, being harmed, and meals were the link, and his excuse to further abuse and cause harm. And to have that action of, our leaders, men in our community, come and make dinner for women, saying, "Hey, we got this," have a break, was so important, and it really was so impactful. There's not enough words to describe, which is really important to do.
And Val, yeah, go ahead there.
If I could add, Nancy, I want to just mention I was also at the dinner as well too, and it was really a proud moment for me to be in a space where men really aren't allowed, and to be able to do that for the women that you serve.
Yeah, it was a fantastic partnership. Absolutely. My last one that I've got for you here, Val, is you mentioned that you're track and field involved in track and field as your specialty. How the heck do you train for an Olympics that we don't know when it's happening and it keeps getting kicked down the road, Val? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult, but I believe the sport governing bodies at our national level and provincial level have said that the only people who can actually access facilities right now is that I'm aware of are our Olympic hopefuls. So I'm sure between the athletes and the coaches, they're getting creative, and we know that we've got some people that are training in a limited format somehow, some way. Yeah,
absolutely. And we're hoping that we get a chance to be able to see them on the podium as well, representing everybody from the grassroots programs like yourself in Sport Hamilton all the way to the Olympic podium. It's a fantastic movement. It's a great partnership. As always, Nancy, we thank you for your time. We thank you for the message. And Val, for you as well, thank you for being a part of this, and Sport Hamilton for doing such a great job in the local community.
Thanks for having us this morning.
There you go. That is very great to be able to have Nancy Smith, Executive Director, Interval House of Hamilton, on the line with us. And, of course, Val Sarjeant, past chair of MentorAction and Vice President of Sport Hamilton, as well as they sign on here to be able to create Be More Than a Bystander month. And, of course, the partnership expanding well beyond the Bulldogs and McMaster, as you mentioned, Sean, Forge FC, and the Tiger Cats involved in this as well.